Hello everyone and welcome back to another lesson with Krystallo from Crystal Clear English. Let me ask you a question. If you want to ask the following, which of the two sentences sounds correct to you? Have you a dog or do you have a dog? A lot of our learners say, have you a dog? But unfortunately, that is wrong. In fact, most people have difficulties knowing how to ask questions in English. Well, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to explain how to ask questions in English using the 5 most common tenses. To help you even further, I have created a free PDF that includes all the information from today, activities for each of the structures I'm going to be teaching you, and a quiz to help you understand everything. You can get this free PDF using the link in the description or by scanning the QR code available on the screen. So, let's start then. Most of you know that the question for the sentence, you are happy, is, are you happy? So, most of you think that just flipping the verb and the subject would form questions. That is correct for the verb to be. But the verb to be is a special verb and is one of the few verbs that gets to flip, to ask questions. But most verbs in English need an auxiliary verb that carries the tense and is used to form questions and negative sentences. Some of these auxiliaries are do, does, did, have, has, and more. And the biggest question is, when do we use each one? I know, it's a big chapter, and today we're going to look at the 5 most common tenses used in English. The first thing we need to know is that questions in English are formed using the auxiliary, the subject, and the main verb. Let's start with the first structure for today, the present. We use the present tense when we talk about general terms, routines, and habits, and the auxiliary for the present is do for I, you, we, and they, and does for she, he, and it. So the question for the sentence, you work every day, is not work you every day. We need to follow the structure of auxiliary, subject, and verb. So as we're using the present every day, the auxiliary is do. The question is, do you work every day? For the sentence, she travels every week. The question is, does she travel every week? Remember, she, he, it take the auxiliary does in the present. Be very careful because the sentence, she travels every week, becomes does she travel every week, but not does she travels every week. The auxiliary does is what carries the tense, the S, and so we do not need to use another S. So the question is, does she travel every week? Let's practice a little bit. Form the questions for the following sentences. He drives to work. The question is, does he drive to work? They meet every Friday. The question is, do they meet every Friday? He lives in Barcelona. The question is, does he live in Barcelona? Amazing. So we have learned how to ask questions in the present, which is used when we talk about routines and habits or things in general. The time references that mostly indicate the present are words like every day, every week, on Mondays, sometimes, always, from time to time, most of the times. You see, this is general time references of things that are routines and habits. Now let's look at the second structure for today, the past. We use the past when we refer to finished actions or finished time references. The auxiliary for the past is did. So for example, a sentence, the affirmative sentence, she went to the gym. The question following the structure of auxiliary subject verb is, did she go to the gym? We never say, did she went to the gym? Because did, the auxiliary, carries the tense and so the main verb takes its basic form. The question for the sentence, you worked yesterday, is, did you work yesterday? Time references to use the past are things that are clearly finished. For example, yesterday, last night, when I was little, last November, 10 minutes ago. Good. Let's practice a little bit. Create the questions for the following sentences. They left early. The question is, did they leave early? He bought flowers. The question is, did he buy flowers? They started the class. The question is, did they start the class? Fantastic. We looked at the past. Now let's look at structure number 3, the present continuous. We use the present continuous to refer to actions, situations that are happening in the moment of speaking. The time reference for the present continuous is usually right now, for the moment, as we speak, because we are referring to things that are happening now. The structure for the present continuous is using the verb to be with the gerund, which is the ing. For example, right now I am talking to you. The verb to be, am, is, are, with the gerund. I am talking, you are talking, she is talking, we are talking, you are talking, they are talking. The structure for questions is auxiliary subject verb, and the auxiliary in this situation is the verb to be. So the questions are, am I talking? Are you talking? Is he talking? Are we talking? Are you talking? Are they talking? So let's practice a little bit. Create the questions for the following sentences. He is reading. The question is he reading? They are studying. The question is, are they studying? You are cooking. The question is, are you cooking? Now, structure number 4, the future. There are different ways to use the future in English, and my favorite is using the modal verb will, because it is the same for everyone. For example, I will see you later. They will go to the cinema. She will call you tomorrow. Following the structure of questions, which is auxiliary subject verb, with will being the auxiliary, the structure goes like this. Will you call me later? Will she attend the event? Will you have dinner with us? The time references to use will are future situations. For example, later, in a few minutes, tomorrow. Now let's practice a bit. Create questions for the following sentences. They will prepare it. Will they prepare it? She will do it. Will she do it? He will arrive late. Will he arrive late? Finally, structure number 5. The most difficult of the structures for today, the present perfect. This is the most challenging one because it uses the auxiliary of have and has, and that can be very confusing. We use the present perfect to refer to situations and time reference that are not finished. The structure is have plus past participle of the verb, or has and plus participle. Have is used for I, you, we, and they, and has is used for she, he, and it. For example, I have seen this film. Following the structure of questions, which is auxiliary subject verb, I have seen this film in question form is, have you seen this film? Or have I seen this film? How do we know when to use the present perfect? That is one of the most common questions my students ask. The important thing to remember is that we're using the present perfect when we refer to situations and time references that are not finished. Sometimes these are implicit and sometimes they are explicit. When we explicitly use time references that are not finished, for example, so far today, this week, this month, recently, lately, yet, already, for, since, among others, this is when it's clear that we need to use the present perfect. But sometimes the unfinished time reference is implicit. For example, I have seen this film implies at some moment in my life, but I'm not saying it, I'm implying it. But anyway, How do we ask questions using the present perfect? That would be, have you seen this film? Or has she ever gone to Paris? So let's practice a little bit. Create questions using the following sentences. They have called you. Question, have they called you? She has paid. The question is, has she paid? In order to help you visualize this better, I have created a table that shows you how time reference dictates what auxiliary we use. For example, when we're talking about the present, general routines and habits, we use the auxiliary do or does. For example, do you work every day? When we talk about the past, we use the auxiliary did. For example, did you work yesterday? When we're talking about now, we use the auxiliary to be, am, is, are. For example, are you working right now? When we talk about the future, we use the auxiliary will. For example, will you work tomorrow? When we talk about an unfinished time reference, we use have or has. For example, have you worked today? Now it's time for a quiz. If you get 5 out of 5 correctly, that is exceptional. And that means you have understood everything I explained here today. Complete the gaps. Question number 1. Go to the cinema yesterday. Did, do, or will? And the answer is, did you go to the cinema yesterday? Question number 2. She's studying right now. Is, will, or has? And the answer is she studying right now? Question number 3. You ever been to Rome? Do, have, or will? And the answer is, have you ever been to Rome? Question number 4. She study English every day? Does, has, or is? And the answer is, does she study English every day? And finally, question number 5. They watch a film later. Will, did, or are? And the answer is, will they watch a film later? And with that, we're at the end of our video. I have prepared all the lesson notes for you. And the only thing you need to do is download the free PDF that includes all the information from today, activities for each of the structures that I have explained, and a quiz that combines all the structures to help you understand them better. You can get this free PDF using the link in the description or by scanning the QR code. If you want to continue your learning, I recommend you watch the next video, which is talking about the 5 most common pronunciation mistakes in English. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.